Welcome, guys. Today we are going to be jumping into the developing romance between the Democrats and the Socialists. So we're going to look at Mamdani's New York, and we're going to be looking into the story of a rising star within the Democratic Socialist Party. So let's know how your day has been in the chat. I spent my morning doing some yard work, and maybe there's still some grass in my hair. I don't know. But tell me how your day has gone so far. Now, let's open up with this story. Scott Galloway is upset because Mamdani's new policies doxed him after he supported Mamdani's pay the tier tax. All right, so let's listen to these guys. Okay, absolutely freak out because the person they voted in essentially did exactly what he said he was going to do. Meanwhile, Hickox is in the chat. Great to see you. Okay, look, your chair is still open if you're still able to pop in, but this is hilarious. So let's listen to Scott Galloway cry about the fact that a socialist is socialisting.
And I've been doxxed.
Oops, sorry. My audio is, geez, sorry. All right, let's go.
And I've been doxxed.
You've been doxxed? What? Tell me.
So I don't know if you've heard, but Mayor Mamdani has decided to release a list of the 950,000 residences with addresses and names that might be eligible for his pied-à-terre tax. I came out in favor of this tax. This is the definition. He's taken a legitimate source of tax revenue and he's turning it into a wanted poster. And the question I would have is, other than trying to identify and imply these people have done something wrong, and then 18 months after a healthcare CEO was executed in the street, and then published the list, what is the upside here? Why is he doing this? And I've been doxxed.
You've been doxxed.
Okay, so all right, so I have hold on, Mr. Hyde. Mr. Hyde says my comments to show support and appreciation for your video is as follows. God bless all truth tellers. Thank you for the latest updates and information. Big thumbs up. Thank you, Mr. Hyde. Thank you. All right, so let's get this straight. The socialists that you guys voted in, the socialists you all celebrated, you popped champagne, you said this is your answer to Trump. He did everything Trump did. Therefore, Trump winning an election isn't rocket science. It's easy. Anyone can do it. See, look what's going on in New York. Let's all do the same thing. And then you have this, what's her face? I want to get her name straight because we're going to talk about her, Francisca Hong. We're going to talk about Francisca Hong because she is the Mamdani that is rising in Wisconsin, but she's not running for mayor. She's running for governor. So we're going to get to that. So Scott Galloway is crying because a socialist is socialisting. Now, speaking of socialisting, we didn't cover this because at the time when Mayor Mamdani announced his 5 city-run tax-funded grocery stores, we were covering the situation in Spain. So here's that announcement from Mayor Mamdani.
Here's how it will work. Once a month, our 5 city-run grocery stores will set prices for this core set of goods at 30% below typical retail prices. No exceptions, no gimmicks. The savings will last for the entire month. That means no weekly fluctuations nor sticker shock at the checkout line. Here's how it will work. Once a month,
So he announces he announces his city-run grocery stores, and Hickox is correct, and he's requiring ID. All right, so this is the follow-up. Okay, he announces the city is going to create these grocery stores to show that capitalism is faulty. And then he says, well, you're going to require ID to show up. Okay, so let's listen to this.
How are you going to keep people from taking advantage of that, that deal, basically?
I'm sorry,
how are you going to keep...
I'm sorry, okay. I'm excited because you were right. Okay, you, Mr. Hyde, Hickox, everyone else watching, you were right. You called it that this wasn't going to work. You called it that they were going to try to do this. And you called it that the people who voted for this insanity will be the first to jump on the screen like this guy crying that socialists are socialisting. So here's Mayor Mamdani explaining to us, peons, how he's going to make the grocery stores work and not have it taken advantage of.
How are you going to keep people from taking advantage of that, that deal, basically? And is there going to be a limit on the number of items that someone can take that are discounted at that level from that essential basket?
So our RFP makes very clear that this is a program for New Yorkers to be able to put food on the table, not a program for people to be able to make a quick buck through reselling. I'm going to pass it over to our EDC head, Jeannie Pack, to add some additional details.
Yes, if you look at our RFP for the operator, we are looking to make sure that we target New Yorkers, whether it be at sort of a library card-esque thing, and also we manage who's buying and that is focused on everyday New Yorkers. So we are mindful of that, and so we're going to make sure that we have all the things in place to ensure that that does not happen.
She says ID.
We are looking to make sure that we target New Yorkers, whether it be at sort of a library card-esque thing.
Library card, IDs. So just like Hickok says, they want IDs for grocery stores, but not IDs to secure elections. They want IDs for the benefits that their communist utopia is promising, but not IDs to ensure that the right people are voted in or that the right people are voting. And so, of course, Mayor Mamdani got absolutely roasted for this, crazy response. And then he begins to walk it back. I think recently he walked it back and essentially tried to make it sound like, well, it's not like we're going to be requiring ID. We're going to have shamans at the grocery stores who can tell who's a New Yorker and who isn't. You're not going to need to do IDs. Now, here he is on the Joy Reid show. Joy Reid lost her show on TDSBC, started her web podcast. And here Mayor Zoran Mamdani rethinks his ID requirement for shopping at his government-run grocery stores, with married women and blacks unable to get ID. Too many New Yorkers would have been excluded. That's his excuse. Let's listen to this stupidity.
When we're talking about a city-run grocery store, one in each borough, which, by the way, you do not need an ID to shop at, no matter what you've just heard in the news of today. We're talking about actually addressing the question of skyrocketing grocery prices. We've seen in the last 6 or 7 years alone an increase in grocery prices of around 30%. And we are going to be delivering a city-run grocery store, one in each borough, 5 in total, that will have the staples of a shopping experience, an essential basket of goods that are discounted by 30% compared to typical retail prices. And that is something that New Yorkers will be able to feel in their pocket. They'll be able to save hundreds of dollars on an annual basis, knowing that the city is looking to actually deliver for them on something that is a non-negotiable in their life, which is healthy and accessible food.
So I don't know if this is false advertising by the X post that we just looked at, but he didn't say anything about how they intend to curtail abuse of the system. All right, now, Mr. Hyde, keep the chats coming. Hickox, keep the chats coming. I'm gonna read your chats in a bit. Okay, so thanks for posting in the chat. Now, this report over here says Zoran Mamdani says his sites won't sell hot food, liquor, or cigarettes at those discounts, so the free market can sell those items. This is going to put so many small businesses out of business. All right, so let's watch this report, and you guys tell me what you think. Okay, you guys tell me what you think. Okay, we're looking at flip-flopping in real time, and we're looking at essentially the destruction of small businesses in New York in real time. Because here's what happens. When government gets into business, the small businesses that need those profits in order to stay stay in business can't compete with the government-run stores that are crashing the profits. And guess who can weather the storm when the government steps big, showing that they are the true allies of the billionaires and the oligarchs. They are the ones providing the environment for the big businesses, the Walmarts, the Targets, and so on, to continue to thrive, and for the mom and pop businesses to die out. So here's the report.
New York City's mayor has revealed which fresh food will be discounted by 30% at the city-run grocery stores.
Today, I am proud to announce a collection of essential staples that will be predictably 30% cheaper at all 5 of our city-run grocery stores.
So if your grocery bill on items like these is $100, it would go down to $70. One of the city's grocery stores is going to be right here on East 116th Street under the elevated train line La Marqueta, set to open in the next year or two. But some bodegas and smaller grocery stores in the area wonder how they can compete with a city-run grocery store when they still have to pay rent and property taxes.
What can you do? We can keep fighting for life. They can.
And guys, I want to remind you that when Mamdani was running for mayor, he created ads in Arabic. He created ads in immigrants, they were immigrant-themed ads. And now the same immigrants he pandered to, the same ones who put him in office, are the ones he's putting out of business.
Go to some place for something and they come here for something else. This is how the businesses go.
Mayor Mamdani has said the city-run grocery stores will sell fresh items like these, but they will not sell hot food, liquor, lotto tickets, or cigarettes, leaving those to the free market stores.
There's a thing about bodegas. If you live in New York, it's unreplaceable. Convenience is not the only thing. It's community.
Been more than 20 years I've been coming to the store.
Will you change to go to the city-run grocery store?
No.
The big question is there even a chance for these small businesses? And the answer to that is no. Small grocery stores, bodegas, and independent markets in New York City operate on extremely thin margins, typically only 1 to 3%. That means if Zoran Mamdani is selling things for 30% below typical retail price, this is not ordinary competition, this is subsidized competition.
So what Wall Street Apes does is he takes these topics and does what I do in real time sometimes during the live streams. I put it through AI, and the AI essentially gives you the breakdown. And look, 1 to 3% of profit is what Mayor Mamdani is trying to scrape away from small businesses, claiming that will drop the price of food. Mayor Mamdani is clearly showing how ignorant he is of how business works. Businesses do not like the true cost of these goods that he's trying to crash are essentially being brought on by regulations that are state-related, state and city regulations. Those are the things that add to the cost of the food. Now, when those things hit the stores then have to have a markup in order to pay things like rent and wages, and of course, mortgages and so on. So they are operating on a paper-thin margin, and yet that is what Mayor Mamdani is going to try to scrape away from them. So I see your chat, Mr. Hyde. Just give me a moment. I'm going to read the chat out and respond.
It is impossible for a small business to compete. In fact, it says that the only way that local businesses can compete is by convenience, meaning that they're super localized to where they are in their city. They can work longer and flexible hours. They can leverage their specialty or ethnic foods, personal service, meaning that the people actually just like them better. And they can sell the items that Zoran Mamdani isn't selling. So this isn't a citywide takeover. 5 stores will not erase the thousands of private outlets. But again, this is a start and it is a dangerous one.
Yeah, so that's his take. All right. So we're going to be, so let's get to the chat. I promise that I will read your comments before we go to Francisca Hong. All right, so we have Mr. Hyde. Black, white, green, whatever. We the people bleed red, white, blue. God bless all freedom-loving patriots. Yes, God bless you, Mr. Hyde. And Mr. Hyde says, most of the country is waking up to the propaganda. Trump is we the people's patriot. Patriotism is a big tent. All freedom-loving patriots are welcome with open arms. That's true. Hickox says Democratic voters are leaving the Socialist Communist Party in massive numbers. Yeah, but Hickox, where are they going? You know, like, are they coming over to the Republican Party? And if they're coming into the Republican Party, you and I know that these guys are highly political, and they will go into the primaries and begin to push left-leaning Republicans into office. That's my concern. All right, so let me know if I'm simply blowing hot air, but yes, it's like, yes, there's people who are walking away from the Democrat Party, but are they walking away from the principles that destroyed their party, that turned the party over into over to the lunatics? Is the question. All right. Let's see. Now, Mr. Hyde says the goal of all of this is collapse. It all makes sense if you recognize that collapse is the final goal. Yeah, because if you look, these guys play the long game. They play the long game. They wait and they plan and they strategize. And it doesn't matter. It could take them 50 years. They will wait until they have the opportunity to gain power and do exactly what they need to do. So another chat from Mr. Hyde. Symbolism. The New York City has been established as the icon of capitalism. New York Stock Exchange, for instance, a prime target of all anti-capitalist forces. That is true. That is true. Yeah. No. Look. The show, Mr. Hyde, is very responsive to the chat. I hope to keep it this way for as long as I can. You know, I know that when there's thousands of chats, I may not be able to cover everything, but when that time comes, we'll figure it out. But thank you for the chat. Now, let's look at this post before we talk about Patricia Hong. Okay, there's this. I saw this, and it tickled me. Okay, so let's read this. Let's take it from the top again. Now, these are the rising stars of the Democrat, Socialist, Islamist, Antifa party. All right, so this post caught my attention, and I felt that I could share it with you guys. Let's take it from the top again. Here's the Democrat lineup going into the midterms. A diagnosed bipolar Asian chick with a history of self-harm who's been institutionalized in a psychiatric ward and overdosed on lithium and wants to get rid of Thanksgiving. A guy who plays with a Dr. Fauci doll, proclaims his love for trans kids, and met his girlfriend at a gay bar. A guy who dresses up as a mechanic for fun, married his cousin, and knocked her up twice. Jeez. A guy who frequents events. That's our man Flint over here. Oh, I'm blocking his face. That's Scott Wiener. A man who frequents events where participants get pissed on in a kiddie pool while wearing assless chaps, whose claim to fame is lowering the age of consent for men to have sex with boys as young as 12, decriminalizing knowingly infecting others with AIDS, and supports allowing convicted pedophiles to run for school board. A Haitian chick who thinks the United States is an effing disgrace, wants to abolish borders, law enforcement, and prisons. A Muslim guy who believes the U.S. deserved 9/11, is funded by the Muslim Brotherhood, and whose wife and father-in-law have terrorist connections. These are the front runners for the Democrat Party. I just wanted to share that. Now let's talk about Francisca Hong. So she got on CNN, and CNN essentially is asking her about her statements about abolishing Thanksgiving. Let's have a listen.
You talked about your past positions that he keeps highlighting, and, obviously likely would continue to do so before November should you win. One thing that they brought up as well was a post from you in 2021 where you said Americans should cancel Thanksgiving, should have done this in 1621. The post has been deleted. Republicans have been highlighting it. Do you still believe that Thanksgiving should be canceled?
I'm a chef, and one of the first meals that I made that was for the community when I was 16 was a Thanksgiving meal. You know, I always think my hospitality background in owning a restaurant for 7, 8 years, that bringing folks around the table to share conversation and build community is always a good thing. But Thanksgiving is also a time that's incredibly painful for many people in our communities. And so I think I wanted to make sure that people understood that there are multiple views, but views can evolve. And the position that I'm running for right now, and I think my background as a chef, will actually help me become a better governor that's able to bring more people to the table.
Francesca Hong, thank you for joining us. We hope to have you back on, depending on how things go next week in your primary.
What the hell? You know, while she was talking, all that was playing in my head is with Kamala Harris responding to every question about the economy with how she was from a middle-class family or growing up in a middle-class home or in a middle-class town. Like, and true to form, CNN doesn't push back. They don't push back. They let them just say the stupid stuff that they say usually, and then they get away with it. You know, this post over here now, she claims that she's a chef. And here she is. I think this is an ad for her run for governor. But this post by Amuse also got my attention, and I wanted to share it with you. Socialism. Francisca Hong is running for governor of Wisconsin. When she aired this commercial for her restaurant had failed. Sorry for reading that off. So when she aired this commercial, her restaurant had failed, shut for over a year, sued by Capital One for $30,000 in unpaid debt, and her parents had to pay, and her only income was from politics. These people know nothing about running a business. It's all nepotism. It's all other people's money. It's all fake it till you make it. It's all virtue signaling and fundraising of those virtue signaling drives. That's all they have. You want a Zoran Mamdani whose claim to fame was being an upcoming rap artist, funded by his parents. And then he comes in and wants to start government-run grocery stores, which history has shown us repeatedly never works. It was run to its fullest capacity in Soviet Russia. Everyone saw that it was a bad idea. For decades, it was a bad idea. It hasn't changed. But here they are again, trying to tell us that no, the socialists in Russia didn't socialist well enough. We are the people who have we have the divine mandate to socialist to perfection. So, look, it's stupid. Now, I want to leave you guys on a good note. You guys know how much I love the Second Amendment. I love the Second Amendment. And this is yet another testament to why the Second Amendment is important. All right. Twin Falls ID fearless patriot Jordan Salinas just went on national TV promoting the Second Amendment, saying the shooter's bravado crumbled after a good guy with a gun engaged him. Mr. Hyde, thanks for the chat. I'm going to be reading it right after this. So just hang in there. Thank you. And if you're watching and you love what you're listening to, let's know your thoughts in the comment section. I'm going to be reading one comment from someone who posted on one of my videos on the main channel. I promised that I was going to read that comment. I hope it shows up properly on the screen because it's a long comment. But thank you guys for engaging in the chat. And if you're watching, hey, what are you waiting for? Jump in the chat and let's have a conversation. So let's listen to this.
I peeked around the right-hand side of that sign closest to the road, and that's where I saw the individual with his rifle pointed at the vehicles.
Authorities believe those heroic actions drove the shooter from the scene and likely saved lives.
He seemed unusually comfortable aiming that rifle at those cars. And
Onto someone.
As soon as some rounds started coming at him, everything changed. Immediately, all that, all that bravado he had immediately crumbled.
This In-N-Out had opened just a week prior. The company says one of their workers was killed while caring for customers.
Oh, boy.
Christopher Claunch was also killed.
I peeked around the...
So I've always said about the Second Amendment, and the statistics are there to back this up. Cities that have stringent gun laws, who don't have, concealed carry rights, tend to have more violent crimes due to pew-pews. So this is yet another story that backs up this, the importance of the Second Amendment, apart from the other thing that we keep talking about. We try to keep it YouTube friendly because YouTube doesn't like pew-pews. All right, so let's read this chat from Mr. Hyde. Not now, but in your spare time, research the 45 goals entered in the 1963 congressional records. The goals of the communist takeover. You will note most of the goals have been accomplished. I would love to, Mr. Hyde. I would love to do that. I'm gonna see how I can make that happen. Okay. I'll be honest with you. Okay. I try to keep the momentum of the live stream going because a lot of people who watch videos don't have the attention span to sit through and watch very deep conversations around these topics. And then I would also say that I have a very unique audience. All right. So if you're sitting and watching, you're special, and I do appreciate you. So I'm gonna look into that. Now I'm gonna ask you, Mr. Hyde. I'm gonna ask you to do something very, very important. Okay. You can do one of these two things or both. One, you can use the link in this video to join the Discord and post some of those bits of information to me directly, and then we can talk. But if you're not comfortable with being on the Discord, because that's where a lot of stuff happens, most of us, Hickox, gardening, a bunch of us like to hang out in the Discord and talk. And in the future, we're going to be having an after party sort of thing going where after the live stream, the conversation continues on the Discord. So we're going to be looking into doing that. So that's why I'm asking you to consider Discord, and anyone else who's watching, consider the Discord. But secondly, you could send those, ideas to me in my email. So you can send that over there so that I can take a look and follow through on researching this, because I think it's very important, Mr. Hyde, that a lot of these things that we're witnessing today, they didn't start today. They didn't start with Obama. Sometimes we try to pin a lot of the digression on Obama. Obama was just the next logical step. And then now we're seeing we're seeing the results of things that started back, in the 50s. So I would like to look into that as well. Mr. Hyde says, a good guy with a gun is what it takes. That is all it takes. Now, I don't know if we're still... Now, this is... Yesterday, Hickox said he was going to try to see if Mrs. Hickox, I'm going to call her that, all right, will join us for the next live stream. That is tomorrow. He confirms that she will be on the live stream tomorrow. And maybe we're going to do a segment on the Second Amendment. We're going to just maybe talk about it. A it's very tricky to do because YouTube is very sensitive on things that have to do with pew-pews. So already the channel is seeing some suppression. I kid you not, I feel like the channel is seeing some suppression largely because of some of the coverage that we did on the protests and a few things that we've been covering over the last couple of months. I have been very vocal about certain things. I have been very vocal about certain things. And once I started talking about those things, full frontal, the views just crashed, like they cratered. We used to get several hundred views on the live streams. Now it's cratered. It's like 2 digits now. So I know that we want to tell the truth. We want to be we want to just tell the truth. We don't want to play the YouTube game. All right. We want to, that recommendation was not pointed at you directly, kind sir. Okay. But, Mr. Hyde, I would like to take up that challenge. I would like to take a look. I would like us to be able to have that conversation. But Mr. Hyde, it's great that you're saying that because many times conversations that happen on live streams tend to be like the host of the live stream has to know everything and has to be able to give answers to every single thing that comes down the pipe. But what I hope we can do here is bring a wealth of experience from everyone who's a part of the live stream, everyone, the audience, the panel, everyone who's on the live stream. And we can literally put our minds together and answer some of these questions. There are things I don't know. There are things you know. And I'm sure that you can tell us a fair bit about the 1963 congressional record that you're referring to. I believe you'll be able to educate us on some of that. So, Mr. Hyde, thank you for prompting everyone to kind of, look into that. And I would recommend that everyone you guys do your own research, even when we present things here from our own perspective. Consider doing your own research. And I hope that when you do that research, you're able to give us more information that isn't gleaned from a talking head somewhere, but you've been able to get it out from historical records and documentations and footage that actually proves either that supports what we're saying or that actually gives more clarity and context that helps us to have a broader view of everything. I was listening to a video. I'm not going to tell you what the video was about. This afternoon while I was mowing the lawn. And the video, it posed a question about what powers the government possesses and how those powers can easily be twisted against people that they deem are their enemies. We saw that during the Biden years. We did. And who's to say that even a government that we support, I'm not talking about this one, but I'm just saying, theoretically, you support a government, the government poses as a government that is fair, a government that is abiding by the rule of law, a government that is abiding by the Constitution, but in the dark corners of the administration, things are being done against people that the administration doesn't like, and even that we may not like. But if the roles were reversed, the question is, are those things legal, and is that right? Like, these are things that I was thinking. And again, I'm not saying that it's about this administration. I'm speaking theoretically. And it poses this question. Thank you, Mr. Hyde, for that. I'm going to read that chat. It poses the question, about us, about whether we relax our consciousness of what's going on in an administration that we support. Simply because we support the administration, we give the administration a lot of leeway to act. Meanwhile, a lot of things that are done could have been called out if we were paying attention and literally insisting on the right thing being done. Okay. It's almost like, okay, I don't know if I'm rambling, and I don't know if you guys understand what I'm saying. It's almost like a Democrat administration does one thing, we rail against it, we complain about it. A Republican administration comes in and does the same thing, and we pretend that we never saw that thing happen. This is something I'm just floating out there. Like, I'm saying, looking at history, looking at the facts, having conversations, deep conversations that says we need to hold our side as accountable as we hold the other side. If our side does or says something that is outrageous and wrong, we should be willing to call them out just like we would call out the other side. It's just that for the other side, we tend to mock them as well. We throw in some salt. We throw some salt in the wound. Mr. Hyde says, those 45 goals represent the drift away from the original intent of our founding fathers. Look, there's this example that keeps coming to mind, and that is how you boil a pot of crabs, or a frog, or a pot of frogs. How you boil a pot of frogs. You don't throw the frog into the boiling water. It will jump out immediately. It might be injured, but it jumps out. However, if you put it in cold water and you put it on the stove and it gradually heats up, eventually the frog doesn't realize that it's being cooked until it's too late. And that's essentially what they've been doing for over 50 years. I think it's 70 years at this point. They've been gradually turning up the heat. They infiltrated the schools. They infiltrated all of the institutions. They put all of their operatives in those institutions to indoctrinate the next generation. Some of them knew that they would not see the outcome of all their efforts, but that the next generation would carry their vision forward. And they've been dedicated to this for over 70 years. So I agree totally with what you've just said. All right, so guys, thank you for watching. If you're watching for the first time and you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. Tomorrow, Hickox and Mrs. Hickox are meant to be here on the panel. Okay. We might talk about some Second Amendment conversations. We're going to talk about the news. We might follow up on what's going on with Spain, but we're definitely, I hope we can talk about the socialists who are essentially about to run during the midterms. It's an insane news cycle right now that we're watching. If I were to expose my timeline, there's a lot of things going on in my timeline that just somehow doesn't make any sense, but it's all there. There's explosions in different parts of the world. There's the Nick Shirley video we covered yesterday. Meanwhile, I got a copyright note on that live stream. I'm going to leave it up as is, but but that's fine. So we're going to look at a few things tomorrow. If you have conversations, I'm looking at my my timeline. My timeline is full of crazy stuff. So if you have any suggestions for stories you would like us to cover tomorrow, consider joining tomorrow. Put it in the chat. We would like to explore them. I usually come in with a plan, but if you guys have things that are like interesting and you guys want to talk about and go towards instead, I'll be very glad to kind of say, okay, let's look at this story because it actually is important. And then we can jump into it. All right, guys. So tomorrow we're going to have Mrs. Hickox and Mr. Hickox on the live stream. We're going to have, a great time tomorrow. Mr. Hyde says, I witnessed the Democratic Party marching in complete lockstep, while the Republican Party historically has noted itself as famous for creating circular firing squads. That's the truth. Now, let me ask something, okay? Let me ask something, and I want those of you who are in the chat to respond, and those of you who are watching, maybe you respond in the comment section. What Mr. Hyde has just described is what the Democrat Party always does. They toe the line. They walk in lockstep all the time. What we call holding our side accountable, like I just recommended earlier, and I'm going to just put myself on the line here. I have recommended calling our side out if we mess up, holding ourselves accountable, and so on. That equally can be weaponized as a circular firing squad, just like Mr. Hyde mentioned. My question is this. Are we going too far overboard with holding our side accountable? Now, when I say this, it doesn't mean we don't hold our side accountable, but it means, are we taking it too far? Are we like the neat freak who washes his hand every 5 minutes, simply because he's afraid of germs? Are we like that group of people who have to call every single thing out so that we're sure that our side is squeaky, squeaky, squeaky clean? It's just a question, because while I am an advocate for accountability, we can also go too far into the whole holding people accountable, because I will say this, and I've said it before in the past. Government is dirty. It is murky. It is dirty. There are decisions that need to be taken that are uncomfortable decisions. People will not like those decisions. Those decisions are decisions that people will push against because it's not pleasant, but they have to be made. It's almost like the situation with Iran. Going to war is a part of leadership. There are times that you need to take your country to war or lead your country to war because it's necessary. And it's never a good feeling, both on the side of the people being led and on the side of the person who is leading. It shouldn't be. It's never a good feeling. But sometimes it just has to be done. So my question is just, guys, I don't know if I communicated it clearly, but do we go too far in holding our side accountable? Or are we self-sabotaging and weakening our side simply because we want to make sure that our side is squeaky clean because the left continues to point at the speck on our white shirts while they have a plank in their eye? So that's just the question that I wanted to ask. Now, let me see if this question comes up properly. I don't know if this is going to show up properly. No, it's not going to show up properly. So I'm going to read this the way it... Now, this is a comment that came in from one of my videos on the main channel. I promised the commenter that I'll read this, and I don't know if that was a good idea, but I'm going to try and keep my promise. So this was a comment on a video on the main channel that has been making the rounds. The video is what Donald Trump knew in 1995 that no one else did. It's currently over 1,200,000 views, and it's made a resurgence in the last few days. So someone in the comments posted this because it was an interview where Donald Trump essentially was interviewed about his life business, and he said some things that essentially predicted the way the press was going to treat him if he ran for president, but he wasn't interested at the time in running for president, and it was a great interview, and a lot of people loved it. So a commenter, let me see if I can find, okay, it's a bad idea. I'm not going to bore you guys with trying to find the name of the commenter. Should I? Whenever I try to do this in real time, I always tend to regret it. But let me see okay. So the commenter's name, his handle is Ride the Sunshine. They said, Clint Eastwood said, "I love when people call Trump stupid. You mean the multi-billionaire who kicked every Democrat's butt, buried 16 career Republican politicians, and continues to make fools out of once reputable news organizations? You mean the guy who won the presidency? You mean the guy with the supermodel wife? You mean the guy whose words alone put a massive slowdown on illegal border crossings? You mean the guy whose mere presence made the stock market smash its previous records? You mean the guy who created 1 million jobs in his first 7 months in office? Are you sure you even know what it is you're resisting? Are you sure you back a party that enables the decimation of every core principle of Christianity? Are you sure you back a party that voted 100% against the abolition of slavery? Are you sure you really take a politician like Maxine Waters seriously? Are you sure you don't see anything wrong with someone who has a 40-year career as a public servant living in a $4.5 million mansion representing a district? Like, that's a full comment. And I was like, okay, I'm going to read this. I'm going to read this. Because people who attack Trump, who say because I have people in the comment section who say he's a fool, he's stupid, he's a joke. And I'm like, are you guys off your meds or something? Okay. So I loved that comment, and I just felt that I should share it. I promised Ride the Sunshine that I was going to read it. So let's see. All right. So Mr. Hyde says, globalism has infiltrated our government. I refer to it as the globalist uniparty. The rhinos in the Republican Party are currently fighting tooth and nail to stop election integrity, the backbone of our republic. And that is why, on this live stream, I don't know how long you've been watching our channel, Mr. Hyde. I think you were in the chat one time. I can't remember, or maybe I saw one of your comments, but I don't know how long you've been following the channel. But I've said that one of the things that I want to, encourage everyone to do is vote. Vote. Show up for every single vote. What the left has done for the last 70 years plus is to activate their base. Their base is always activated. When a Republican is in office, they rage bait their base and get them out to protest. They are always on a war footing. It's like what's going on with Iran. Iran has been on a war footing with the United States for 47 years, 48 years. And everyone thinks that the United States has not been at war because they didn't legally announce that they were at war. But another country has been on a war footing with the United States for 48 years. And in the same way, the Democrat Party and the socialists and communists have been on a war footing for over 70 years. It's the Republicans or the conservatives who pack up their gear and go home at the end of every election. The Democrats don't. They continue to stay active. They continue to stay activated. They continue to stay radicalized. They continue, even when they win, they continue to push for policies that make it impossible for Republicans to win. And when they lose, okay, we call it losing their minds, and we laugh at them. But the truth is, what they're doing is that they're rallying to continue to stay activated. If we lose elections, most of us pick up our gear and go home, and we want to go back to our families, we want to go back and run our businesses, and that's fine, and that's honorable. Well, look at what's going on with the other side. Look at how effective they've been. And you can't claim that they haven't been effective. Mr. Hyde has just shown us that they've been working on this for decades now. So I keep talking about staying active and staying relevant. And sadly, it means looking at some of these outrageous stories, which a bunch of us don't like to look at. Mr. Hyde's in the chat, he says, the builder of towers in the highly regulated prime property of New York City, Trump, the long-term planner. Yep. Look, so guys, I want to have a hard close. I need to rush out to pick up my child from daycare. But I want to say to you guys, okay, thank you, Hickox and Mr. Hyde for engaging in the chat. We do this every day at 3 p.m. Eastern. I hope that we'll see you in the chat again, Mr. Hyde. Today, you're really active. I hope that we'll have you back again and again and again so that we can continue these conversations. And hopefully the rest of us would do the homework that Mr. Hyde recommended that we do with the congressional report that he recommended. And tomorrow we're going to be back, and we're expecting to have Mr. and Mrs. Hickox on the live stream. So that should be fun. All right, guys. Love you guys. Praying for you guys. And until the next one, stay awake, stay prayed up, and God bless the United States of America. God bless you, and God bless the world. See you soon. Bye.